In a recent Apple TV settings video, I talked all about my preferences and recommendations for video settings. And my general thesis in that content suggested that you run your Apple TV normally in 4K SDR mode with the match dynamic range setting on. That ensures, or should ensure, that anytime that you launch a piece of content, a movie, a show, whatever in an app, if that content is in HDR or Dolby Vision, the Apple TV will output that appropriate format and trigger your television to switch over to that format as well. But you're not driving your display for the menus and the other applications that would nominally be in SDR. You're not driving your display needlessly in an HDR or Dolby Vision mode. But one of the things that people have asked a bunch of questions about in the comments and posed to me in general, I got ladies stopping me at the grocery store. They're saying, hey Jeremy, if I put my Apple TV in SDR, those really sweet dynamic motion video Apple TV screensavers look really drab and not as interesting as they could. And that is actually very much the case. The nominal setting, the default setting that you put for your Apple TV will affect the way that the screensavers are actually rendered. All right, so here we are at the Apple TV menu. I want to show off the fact where my video settings are configured right now. We're going to go into video and audio. And here we are per, again, the prior content that I made. I generally run this and I recommend putting your Apple TV in 4K SDR mode. You're connecting to a television, use the video levels, and 444 chroma with the match dynamic range turned on. Now if I go all the way back to the home screen here and I turn on those really cool video dynamic screensavers, and it's a little hard to see, I'll put up a better overlay picture, but I do have the Apple TV developer debug menu options enabled. I'm able to use the playback HUD, and the playback HUD in that upper left hand corner is telling me that the video range for the content that we're currently playing is SDR. It's in 4K, it's in 59.94 Hertz, basically 60 Hertz. Doesn't tell us the bit rates of the screensavers. That would be pretty cool to see. But in any case, we are running here SDR screensavers. Now if I go back, I'm going to go back to settings and video and audio, and I'm going to change the default output format of the Apple TV to Dolby Vision. Yes, I want it. My LG G2 supports it. There's the Dolby Vision tag in the upper right hand corner suggesting that the TV just changed. Now notice I don't get to choose RGB or video levels. I don't get to choose chroma because of HDMI bandwidth limitations and other things. The Apple TV just does what it does in this mode. However, I still can leave match dynamic range on. And what that means is if I launch an app that wants SDR, the TV, the Apple TV and the TV itself will change to SDR. Now if I pop up one of those screensavers, wow, there's more color, there's more brightness, it's more dynamic. Of course, in the making of this video, I'm getting like one of the most boring screensavers possible to show up just some underwater bubbles. But again, I'll throw the overlay up from the Apple TV developer playback HUD, and we can see pretty clearly in that upper left-hand corner, now we're getting 4K, we're getting the same frame rate and all that stuff, but it is specifying Dolby Vision 5. And per the questions, per the comments, and all of that from the prior video, yes, if you use these screensavers a lot, okay, here we're changing. So here's one that would actually make a little bit of a difference. Of course, it's the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday. I'm recording. You're not going to really see the impact of the HDR, but I assure you these lights, the dynamics, and all of that are taking advantage of the fact that, yes, it is in fact rendering in Dolby Vision. So again, if you use these screensavers a lot, you have this up all the time while you're playing Apple Music or something, hey, maybe in fact you do want to leave your default setting to be Dolby Vision or HDR if your TV only supports that, and take advantage of seeing these prettier images. So I did go back there and flip my settings back to SDR to snag the picture while this image was up, and I certainly can attest, yeah, the city lights and all of that are not quite as bright, not quite as dynamic. You're getting more punchy, again, better screensavers if you run the Apple TV nominally in that default HDR or preferably Dolby Vision state. There's really not a downside otherwise to doing it. Yeah, you're running your TV in a Dolby Vision mode, maybe more than it needs to be, but honestly, you're using a little bit more energy perhaps to pop out a brighter image than you would have otherwise got in an SDR mode, but there's probably not really any other downside to be concerned about here if you opted to use it this way. So do it, more power to you, if in fact you really want those punchy screensavers. And I can verify as well, since I am a YouTube TV subscriber, that launching YouTube TV, which is an SDR application, launching YouTube TV and putting up playback of a channel, everything does in fact flip back to SDR. The TV was reporting SDR, and then you leave playback of the broadcast regular old channel in YouTube TV back to the menus and all of that, and hey, we're right back into Dolby Vision mode. Match dynamic range works exactly like it's supposed to, regardless of where you set it to, where you set the Apple TV video settings to by default, and whatever type of content then you opt to play in any given app. So sound off in the comments, let me know, do you run your Apple TV in SDR by default, or do you do an HDR or a Dolby Vision setting? Sound off in the comments and let me know. I got a whole bunch of these Apple TV settings and options videos on the channel. Check them out if you want more information and more help and guidance with your Apple TV. And let me know, what else do you want to learn more about? What other Apple TV information can I provide for you in future content? Otherwise, if you'd like to support the channel, hey, it's all down there. Super thanks, PayPal, Venmo tips, Shop at Audio Advice, and Amazon, and all of that. Otherwise, please do all that regular YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share the video, and leave those comments. And come on back for more home theater discussion and fun.